So Lord Krishna begins explaining to Arjuna about how he thought this transcendental knowledge long ago. So Krishna says, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavan Aham Avyayam Vivasvan Manave Praha Manurikshvakave Pravid. The Blessed Lord said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasvan, and Vivasvan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So Krishna is telling that he explained the science of yoga long ago to the sun god Vivasvan. In every planet there is a presiding deity who manages the affairs of that planet. In sun planet there is the king of sun planet whose name is Vivasvan. So Krishna says to Arjuna that he instructed the science of yoga to Vivasvan long ago. In the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains, in this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivasvan, the king of sun, who is the origin of all planets within the solar system. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Yachakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasyajnaya Brahmati Sambrata Kala Chakro Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajan. Lord Brahma says, let me worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planets, he is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and travels its orbit in obedience to his order. So the sun planet, which is the king of all planets, it is performing its duty under the obedience of the Supreme Lord, Krishna Govinda. So that king, the king of sun planet Vivasvan, was instructed by Lord Krishna himself. So it is explained in the Mahabharata Shanti Parva. It is said, Treta Yugadau cha tato Vivasvan manave dadau Manushya loka vrityartham Sutaye Ikshvakave dadau Ikshvakuna cha kathito vyapya lokan avasthita. That means, in the beginning of the Treta Yuga, this science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivasvan to Manu. Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet and forefather of the Raghu dynasty in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita existed in the human society from the time of Maharaja Ikshvaku. So Prabhupada further gives some details of how many years ago Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita. At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, which lasts 4,32,000 years. Before this, there was Dwapara Yuga, that is 8 lakh years. And before that, there was Treta Yuga, which was 12 lakh years. And then, thus, some 2,005,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son, Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. The age of the current Manu is calculated to last some 305,300,000 years, of which 120,400,000 have passed. Accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivasvan, a rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120,400,000 years ago, and in human society it has been extant for 2 million years. It was re-spoken by Lord Krishna again to Arjuna about 5,000 years ago. This is the rough estimate of the history of the Gita according to the Gita itself and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Sri Krishna. So it was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he is also a Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriyas who are descendants of sun god or the Surya Vamsha Kshatriyas. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this knowledge is apaurusheya, superhuman. Since Vedic instructions are accepted as they are without human interpretation, the Gita must be therefore accepted without mundane interpretation. The mundane wranglers may speculate on the Gita in their own ways, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as it is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is from the disciplic succession, and it is described herein that the Lord spoke to the sun god spoke it to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku. So this is the rough estimate of the history of Bhagavad Gita. It is extant in human society at least 2 million years ago. So this is a history. So Krishna further explains, Eva parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakaleneha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. Krishna says, this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appeared to be lost. So Krishna had spoken Bhagavad Gita in the beginning of Treta Yuga to sun god Vivaswan, and sun god Vivaswan spoke it to his son Manu. Manu spoke it to Ikshvaku, who is the father of the Raghu dynasty. In this way, the science of Bhagavad Gita was disseminated in the disciplic succession through the Raja Rishi Parampara. But when Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago in Dwapara Yuga, he found that that science which he had taught long ago was broken. That knowledge was destroyed. So he had to re-establish, re-speak the science of yoga. So that's what Krishna is telling here.